That's fine.
I think around the turn of the century, with the businesses that were here, there were probably 90,000 people in this city. That's a lot of people for Trenton.
The sign on the bridge says, "Trenton makes, the world takes." Trenton made the wire rope to build the Brooklyn Bridge, cigars,
Ceramics,
fine china, toilets, bathtubs, steel products, beer, porcelain dolls, rafts, parachute, rubber product.
Trojans. We made good rubber products.
But what history often overlooks is that Trenton didn't just make things, it made music. Great music. Way back when, in 1967 or so, an older sister put a record in my hand made by the band called The Trees. And that pretty much set me on my path to Trenton local music and stuff.
My favorite quote from anybody, it was George Burns on The Tonight Show. When Carson had it, Carson said, "George, the toughest place you ever played." He didn't bat an eye. He said, "Trenton, New Jersey." He said, "Why is it Trenton, New Jersey? You played for Kings and Queens." And he says, "No, Trenton is halfway between New York and Philly, and that's where the musicians live. And if you stink, they're going to let you know."
Over in Asbury Park, they get the accolades for being, this is where music is from. But the other side of the state, the west coast of New Jersey, the capital city, Trenton, had a great many musicians to come out of it.
I don't know. We used to say there's something in the water in the Delaware River, that we were all drinking Trenton water because there were just so many talented people in such a small area.
So the talent that was coming out of New Jersey, especially that central area of Trenton, Mercerville, Hamilton, it was just a cornucopia of talent, musical talent.
So it was, there's tons and tons and tons of talent around here.
A lot of it is the greatest music you've probably never ever heard.
I took her to the picture show. Where we end up, I don't know. So man, it wasn't it wasn't all just rock and roll. There was a place where you could see blues, string sections. The Bob Smith's Lamplighters were a big band when I was a kid. She's got her eye on me tonight. Yeah, I know. Trenton guys, man, it was more about just growing up in that area. In Trenton, New Jersey tonight.
When I saw the Red Cross footage of the Ethiopian children, it was so shocking. And, that horrible look in the eyes of those children.
So now it makes you really feel like you are doing something to help them out, no matter how small it may be, but it's just the fact that you know that you've done something.
I wrote a song together with Frank Pinso and another friend that we were playing with at the time, Marty Hedgie, called Have You Ever Seen Their Eyes? We came upon some of the very best musicians in the Trenton area and asked them if they would like to collaborate in the song, gratis, and they all said absolutely, without hesitation. They were behind the cause.
Did you ever fight in the war? Support the hungry, feed the poor. And while we search for life on Mars, how is it on Earth, nation's star?
Through the sale of this record and a benefit concert at City Gardens, we raised meaningful support for a relief effort, something we've all been proud of. And now, 40 years later, a simple Facebook post brought it all back. Tom Cunningham, a local DJ, shared a photograph of the original group of musicians who took part in the song so many years ago. The image stirred memories, sparked conversation, and ignited an idea. To mark the 40th anniversary, why not reunite as many of the original members as possible and write and record a new song, one that honors the music, the musicians, and the enduring spirit of Trenton. So it's out of that nucleus that we have this group that have come together once again to record this song and hopefully educate people who weren't around at that time about the Trenton music that got us to this particular point in history.
Back in the 60s and early 70s, a few Trenton artists started making names for themselves. Among them were the brothers Lon and Derek Van Eaton and a local kid named Chris Holmes, who later became known as Duke Williams.
I spend most of my time in Trenton as the Galaxy's Four in Alexander Rabbit before Duke Williams. I started making records when I was 15. It was the World's Fair, 64, 65. I was in the Galaxies, and we were like the house band at the New Jersey Pavilion. And then we entered the World Rock and Roll World Championship Band Contest at the Lambertville Music Circus, right? And there were 2,000 bands in the contest, and it was just like a 3-week event, you know, the elimination. And we won. Thank God we won. And then everything changed. Everything changed. And got called to audition for this group that the Stones were producing in Philly at Sigma. Everybody was there. So anyway, to make a long story short, Jagger and Marshall Chesh show up. They didn't like the band, but they said, sign the kid on the organ. And that was me. Because my hair, I guess, it happened overnight. Next thing I know, man, I was substitute teaching at the Trenton Public School System. And the next day, man, I'm on a plane to Macon, Georgia to sign with Phil Walden on Capricorn. At that point, I was like 23, 24. You just wanted your name on the record. But it was Lon who beat me because he got signed to Apple, the Brother album, right?
Welcome, Tom Krawick, to Chip Off the Old Rock. Hello, buddy. How are you?
Hello, my good friend Danny. It's great to talk to you, man. And let me tell you first, I'm just very honored that you even asked me to be on the show. So Lon and Derek Van Eaton, they went on to record an album on Columbia called Jacob's Creek, which led, was critical acclaim. But, back then, record labels didn't hold on to you if you didn't have big hits on it. But Lon and Derek, two brothers, they recorded demos to start shopping out to record labels. The demo ended up in the hands of George Harrison at Apple Records when Apple Records was just beginning and they were just starting to sign different artists. George Harrison loved the demo and called their manager and said, hey, I would like to offer them a recording contract. So he invited Lon and Derek to come to London. They stayed at his house. They would go into the studio. They were the last artists signed to Apple Records, but they were the first artists to record at the Apple Recording Studio, not Abbey Road, but Apple Recording Studio, where they did Let It Be at. The Let It Be movie was filmed in the basement of Apple Studios. So they came out on Apple Records. There's an album called Brother with Lon and Derek Van Eaton. And so it was a pretty neat progression going from this little Trenton band, high school band, to way to the top. Later, Ringo played on their records too. Ringo, Klaus Vorben, Peter Frampton recorded on it because George called them in. But Lon and Derek went on to record with Ringo on different things. And on the song Photograph, if you hear the castanets in the background, that's Derek Van Eaton playing the castanets and percussion. And Lon and Derek sing background on the chorus and everything of Photograph. So we have a Beatle connection, direct line from Trenton, New Jersey to Apple Land, to Beatle Land. Another rising talent in Trenton was Bruce Foster. Bruce built a remarkable career collaborating with legendary artists such as Phoebe Snow, Richie Havens, and the Drifters. But his journey began much closer to home, playing in Trenton area bands such as Jacobs Creek with Lon and Derek Van Eaton. He joined forces with his friend Steve Mosley to form the Foster Mosley Group, adding Jody Gambaluka, Sam Mazziello, and Richie Sambora on guitar. They later evolved into The Next and Shark Frenzy. As Richie Sambora left to join Bon Jovi and Steve Mosley moved down the road to play with David Bromberg, Bruce found himself at a crossroads. The bands were changing, the money was drying up, and the future was uncertain. Bruce tells a great story of what happened next, a story that captures how timing, perseverance, and the right collaborator can make all the difference.
And I was sinking fast. I needed a miracle. So I called Robin Garb, who had managed me, Frank Stallone, Jody. He managed Jacobs Creek and the group Valentine. I said, Robin, I need a miracle. I need to make some money. Is there anything that you have going on out in California? He says, well, I just became the musical director for Sylvester Stallone's production company. And as a matter of fact, he's directing the sequel to Saturday Night Fever, and it's going to be called Staying Alive. And we need a song. We need one song. You're up against Kenny Loggins, all these other people, Bob Seger, all these people trying to get a song in this because they know it's going to be a smash. And the other problem is you don't even have a song written yet, and it has to be on my desk by 10 a.m. LA time tomorrow morning. So now I said, just give me a shot at it. And I was like, okay, So I dial up Tommy Marotta. It took me at least a half an hour of my best salesmanship to convince him to even drop what he was doing that day, help me write and record the song, get it in FedEx, which closed in those days at 5 p.m. Before 5 o'clock that night. It was already almost noon. And I wrote as much as I could of the song, driving with, I had an AMC Pacer and had a bench seat. So I had the notebook right in the middle, jotting this down. Hour ride into Trenton, got there, Tommy heard it. Yeah. He came up with all these great lines. And so now it's okay, we finished it, time to record it. It was already like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He picked up the bass, I picked up the guitar. And one take, I played the guitar part, he played the bass part. We did one take on the vocals, one take on the background vocals, a rough mix, threw the tape in a thing and drove down. It was now 4:45. And we rushed down to the FedEx building about 3 miles away. And we got in there, can we still get this? It was like 5 of now. And she said, oh yeah, you got 5 minutes, you're fine. They got it there. They listened, and it made it into the top 10. That song was in and out of the movie over the next 3 months about 5 times. It didn't quite fit. All of a sudden, a miracle happened. Robin calls me again. He says, a miracle happened. Your song's back in. I said, what happened? He said, it's like noon. We forgot that we had booked a session to have the final mix done and the final vocal with this other guy doing Look Out for Number One in the studio out in LA. And I called Sly and I said, guess what we forgot to do after we cut that song last night? We forgot to cancel the session. And Sly said, well, we're paying for it. Why don't we go down and hear it, you know? So they went down and they heard it on the big speakers, new vocal, killer sax part. He said, that's it. It's back in the movie. I don't care if I have to cut a Bee Gees song. So we were back in, and a few months later, I got a call from Robin, and he said, well, got other good news. You've been nominated for a Grammy. Thank you, Tommy Marotta. So without Tommy, it could have never, ever happened. You know, he was the glue and the heart and soul on that one to bring that together.
You had a whole bunch of great artists, the Shades, Construction, and these bands were putting out recordings, Smart Remarks, that they were doing in my studio, and I was just so happy to help them whenever I could. The local station allowed me to put an album together with some of the talent. And Tony Bongiovi from the Power Station in New York, which was a first level recording studio, had Aerosmith, Meatloaf, everybody, Neil Young, you name it. He heard my song on the radio and he goes, you want to come in and use my studio anytime you want? I said, sure. So I went in there and I just happened to hear John Bon Jovi in the next room doing Runaway. And he didn't have Richie Sambora at the time. Richie Sambora was in a band with me, or I was with him, because we had a lot of musicians going back and forth and exchanging. If this guy couldn't make it one night, we'd call Ernie, we'd call Richie, we'd call Jody Gambaluka, God rest his soul right now. I said to John, I think I know a great guitar player for you. And it was a marriage. And the funny thing is, I moved out to LA and I was in the gym with Heather Locklear, and she asked me one night, do you know Richie Sambora? Because I know you're into music. Yeah, he's my best friend. Okay. But I should have been a marriage counselor or a dating site. But anyway, so that's basically my story. I'm still doing what I've been doing since I was 16. And I know a lot of other guys that are still down there doing it as well. And I honor them very much.
Singing, okay, so we're going to do the same thing.
Right.
Been singing.
Frank Pinto is an incredible songwriter. He and I have been songwriting partners for many years, and this opportunity presented an exciting new challenge for us to create something special. You even get a little onomatopoeia on that.
All right, so but one thing has stayed the same instead of remained.
It didn't take long for the music and lyrics to take shape. Once it did, the next step was to record a basic track. For that, we headed to Tom Rioch's Squirrel Ranch Studios.
Okay.
Starting with Frank's solo piano track, we began filling things out with Bob Scannella on drums and Brian Leahy on the Hammond B3, both of whom played on the original recording of Have You Ever Seen Their Eyes? Rounding out the musicians were Jerry Monk on bass and Joe Kramer on guitar, both outstanding musicians who have been an integral part of the Trenton music scene for many years.
There. But
Yeah.
this is going to go back to the original.
But same tempo.
Tom Rioch is a remarkable producer and has long been the go-to recording engineer for many of Trenton's music artists.
So let's just keep going. It's our Hey Jude, you know? So we've added a jazz chord and a blues chord.
Right. Trenton music is all that.
Yes, of course it is.
But Tom is more than a producer. He is also an exceptionally talented musician. Each year, he produces the Rioch and Roll Review at the Kelsey Theater, delivering a theme-based musical experience that consistently amazes audiences and showcases some of the very best musicians Trenton has to offer.
It was a crying disgrace. Desire face. On the counter by your keys was a book of numbers and your remedies. One of these surely will screen out the sorrow, but where are you,
good time yet? All right. We're really happy to be here tonight. Thank you, Todd, for having us.
I love watching Paul and Zook play. It's not like a dogfight. It's like they spur each other to do heights.
Paul Plummer, he was on my tomfoolery album. What an amazing blues guitar player. Nobody like him at all.
Don't be late. You're pulling out about a half past.
You know, it's not just, we're just going to sit down and play. You know, we're old-time Trenton guys, man. They are serious about it.
Joe Zook, an incredible guitar player, just, you know, an amazing talent and asset. And here's a guy who gave back to the city of Trenton by becoming a teacher and teaching, you know, young music minds throughout our city schools. Paul Plummer, he absolutely blew me away. The Bishop of the Blues, one of the most talented, you know, guitar players that you'd ever see on a stage in the area.
You know, you had Zook and Plummer. They were the stuff. They were rocking the bars.
Ain't nothing in the world. T-bone shuffle won't kill.
The Bishop, Paul Plummer, come on, cheer for me. Come on.
I thought Trenton would be it was a little edgier, a little grittier, a little less refined. It was the hardcore guitar, bass, drums, keyboard.
So there was just so much different influences. So there was definitely a flavor.
So was there a sound? Well, for us there was, you know.
I think you could categorize the Trenton sound, to lump it in as sort of like a soulful, kind of gritty, melodic, and there's a Trenton ending to songs. The big Trenton ending. Everybody just...
Yeah, big bombastic
big
finish.
bombastic ending.
On the smell of perfume and gasoline.
It reflected being in the city, you know, in what used to be an industrial powerhouse.
I built a studio, and I was lucky enough to have the fabulous talent of the Trenton area, Ernie White. I think he's the greatest vocalist in the country.
Ernie White, I mean, I heard about him, I guess, the mid-'70s.
The first time I saw Ernie was they said, oh, you got to go see this guy, Ernie White. And I went, and, you know, Ernie jumped up on the bar and walked up and down the bar, picked up a beer bottle and played slide.
First time I saw Ernie White playing with his band Wind, absolutely blew me away that this kind of music could be made here in town.
It's great to sit here with you and get to be the one to ask you questions, my friend.
Here, my friend.
You, I've always described as one of the last of the real entertainers. There's bands that guys go up and they stand, like local, perform, but I don't think they're really performing. They're playing for people. And you go back to that 60s in the local clubs where these old guys like Lou Giovi and these guys, they entertain the crowd. You know how to, you're one of the last of the old entertainers. And you know,
Yeah, I mean, especially in the kind of business we're in, where not your job, but I mean, you're trying to keep people in the seats, you know,
right.
and
I always came from that, that angle, because I came up with bands like that, like Win and Sam the Band.
Yeah.
They were entertainers, really.
Yes.
And great musicians, but they were entertaining. And if they were going to put it in your face, whether you want it or not, man, here we are. Check it out, because we ain't backing down.
I'll
Bernie's going to go on top of the bar. He's going to play everything. We're gonna crank it up so you can't talk. We believe that, like, you gotta be loud enough so people can't talk.
Right.
You're gonna listen to us. That's why you guys so loud. Come on. You're here to hear music.
I know Ernie White does a benefit every year.
The other great thing is the Ernie White Christmas shows.
You would host every year the Christmas show.
Yes.
You started small.
Yeah.
But eventually, you included everybody into all the shows.
Yeah, it was really fun to do. I mean, now I have it down to where we're kind of tailoring it way back down again, because it's got a little too overwhelming to do the big extravaganza. But the idea was, let's get as many people as we can to play, and let's do it for charity.
Right.
So, it was all for charity, and we raised a lot of money. It was a labor of love.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Come on now. Hallelujah, hallelujah, oh, hallelujah. Take it, Richie. Hallelujah.
I appreciate so much that you're still doing it, and you're still doing it at a great level.
Thank you,
because
Tom.
it is
I appreciate
very
you.
enjoyable. Every time I come out and see you, it fills my heart that it makes all's right with the world. Okay, I can go back home and sit and watch TV now.
I'll be out there somewhere. I'll be out there.
Yep.
The South Trenton Blues Band probably was the start of Dee Dee and the Dive Bombers.
All during this time, there's a floating band that Dee Dee Warwick had put together in deference to Mad Dogs and Englishmen, called Dee Dee and the Dive Bombers.
The Dive Bombers, we did benefits.
We do benefit shows, usually raise money for somebody's child who was needed operations or whatever.
To give back to the people in the audience, make them dance.
And it was anywhere from 5 to 20-some people on stage at once. That was insane.
I'm pretty proud of the Dive Bombers. We had great musicians and we did a lot of good things.
Drew's an old friend, and actually wrote a song, called "I'm Going to Be a Dive Bomber Tonight." A lot of those guys are called.
I'm going to try to do one more dive bomber before we go off into the sunset. I think anybody will tell you, anybody else you'll interview will tell you it was a great, great, great time for musicians around here.
Trenton had an incredible jazz musician. A young kid by the name of Richie Cole grew up in Ewing Township and went on to fame playing with the Buddy Rich Band. Richie also went on to become a great solo artist, playing on his own records for many years. He was so proud of where he came from, he called his first solo album Trenton Makes the World Takes. Doesn't get any better than that for the city.
So Dick Gratton, one of the best jazz guitarists you will ever come across in your lifetime.
Bob Smith Trio with Tom Pass.
Instant Funk. I mean, it was a great band.
They were called Instant Funk.
Instant Funk. Out of Trenton, New Jersey, Instant Funk is one of the most dynamic bands ever.
These guys were good. I mean, these guys were really slick, really good players.
Richie Cole came from here, Sarah Dash came from here.
With Paul and Zook with the blues end of it, and Cindy Birdsong and Supreme stuff. Oh, Sarah Dash. They sold their music. They sold it. I mean, and I don't mean monetarily. I mean that they made you believe you were singing just to them, and you felt everything, every word they said, and you got every feeling that it was right there. For me, that's what the music's all about.
When you opened the Trentonian, the centerfold was Duffy's Night Scene, and it had 2 pages of business card sized ads of where all these guys were playing. And back then there were places to play. If you were a musician during that time, 70s and the 80s, and you lived in Trenton, you could play 7 nights a week.
You could go your choice of a half dozen places and see live bands, not just one guy strumming in the corner. You could go from here to here to here to here. Let's make the rounds if you wanted to. And everybody be jamming and go playing a 1:30 and the whole bit, So that probably, and I'm sure other towns were like that, but specifically this area was, man, there was so many places to play.
All right, we're moving along here just to show you how close everything was. Just an idea, there were, I don't know how many places around the area. Right here's the Soho, which prior to the Soho, it was called Jim Chico's Cafe. And right here was the old Hudson Beer Gardens, right here, which turned into Z's. I can show you where the first place that I played in a bar, it was called 4D's. We're coming up to it, right around the corner from my house. Everything was so close, a bar on every corner. Everybody had music. There's music 7 nights a week. A bum like me could earn his living playing music. And we could go buy Sweeney's. It's another place. I mean, it's insane. You could make enough money to pay your bills and eat, have a little fun too. Now right over here is a treasure chest. I played at Dean Natale's. That's another spot. That was over on Olden Avenue. It's endless. That was the F&G right here. This is it's apartment house now. But that was the F&G, man. I used to jam that place up. I went and seen Barbara Trent there in the mid-70s. She was something. I don't know how she did it. She would sit down at the piano at 8 o'clock or whatever and not stand up, get off the piano till midnight. She played for 4 hours straight. It was amazing. She was great. Right here. Here we go. The Extension Tavern, right here. Millie's place. And so we got a whole bunch of places all jammed together, all having music. It was happening.
So they were, our holy grails, our venues. If you played Brothers Saloon on a Thursday night or You got to play City Gardens on the weekend. Boy, you felt like, you know, you were a local hero, you know?
There it is. Wow, we can actually go in. Holy ground. We're on holy ground. Wow. Look at this. I thought they knocked this bad boy down.
Out of all the places in this area, City Gardens was probably the place.
I was lucky. My brother was one of the biggest promoters in the 80s. Out of just hopes and dreams, would be part of a place where he would book the biggest bands in the world. And as his brother, 17 years old, 18 years old, sometimes not old enough to be there, we were opening for Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. We were opening for the Ramones, Lydia Lunch, Haircut 100, an English band that had the #1 song in the country at the time that we would open for them. So, you know, wow, you know, what a thrill.
When they first opened, I think it was 80, 79, 80, I'm not sure, one of them two. And that's when they first opened. The front wasn't opened up yet. They were working on that.
Do you remember what it was called before it became King Tut's City Gardens? City Gardens Disco, originally.
How about
and
that?
then it eventually evolved.
Oh, man.
It became a concert arena, basically,
Yeah.
a concert hall
Oh, sure.
for everything. So they would get the acts going between New York and Philly,
Right.
and this would be a stop along the way.
Wow. Unbelievable. The stage is up
Yeah.
there.
That was the stage.
This looks like it would look like right after a punk show.
Yes.
But the stage was here.
Right.
There was a dressing room
Yep.
up here.
That's back room is where it all started. Me and Joey Kramer opened up for Nils Lofgren here when he played here. I think it was in 1983. And, you know, we got to talk to Nils. This is right before he went with Bruce Springsteen. Oh, boy. And then the next thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. Yeah.
I met Clarence Clemens right about over there.
Oh, really?
Clarence was playing here with the Red Bank Rockers. You'd have, you know, all these other bars around Trenton where you'd have solo acts playing over at Millie's. You'd have an oldies band playing over at the Colonial Bowling Alley.
Colonial Pub, right.
You know, you'd have disco over at St. Charles Place. You'd have rock and roll over at Brothers Saloon. So this was the alternative.
Billy D's, don't
and Billy D's with the blues. So you had all these other clubs. So this was the totally different, totally next thing. And it gave the people who didn't fit into those other categories a place to play.
Right.
When I think about Maury, I think about, you know, our childhood and how we grew up in a home that was filled with music in a town, Trenton, New Jersey, that was filled with music. When he was 17, he had saved up some money from newspaper route all around our neighborhood, and he decided, I'm gonna go downtown to Sears, and he came home with a guitar, $49.95, and a songbook for about $3. He was only 17 when he bought that guitar, and it was in 1969, so he would have been 20 when he was asked to sign a songwriting and recording contract. And we thought, oh my goodness, Maury's dreams are coming true. He's got an album, you know, that people are gonna go buy in a store. So they recorded about 5 songs that they had worked up together. And Jim mailed this cassette to Tommy West. So Tommy gets this cassette tape, pops it in, and listens, and he goes, this is our Jim with our Maury. And he calls Terry Cashman in and says, you gotta listen to this. Listen to the two of them together. What do you think? And Terry says, we could sell 1 million records. This is gold. When you see videos, thankfully there are a lot out now, you can see what Maury did to make that music come to life. Jim was so talented. I mean, he had the ideas for songs, he had lyrics, he had melodies, and he had charisma, and he could tell stories. They both were so talented. But if there was a cake called Jim Croce, Maury put the icing on it, you know? So if someone said to Jim how great he was, he'd say, you know, did you see this guy? You know, he called Maury his angel. He said, God sent me an angel. And he did, because everything started to happen for Jim once he met Maury.
How come you don't say nothing about him and his sunglasses?
Now came time for the heavy lifting. It was time to lay down the vocals. For that, we brought together an all-star team with names very familiar to the community. Ernie White, Joe Zook, Paul Plummerai, Billy Hill, Dee Dee Warwick, Tommy Kay, Meg Hansen, and Frank Pinto.
Chichaero?
Watching the old video in Tom's studio was like attending a high school reunion.
Let me get my glasses
we gotta sit down.
Let me get my sunglasses on.
What they're gonna do?
No auto-tune. No auto-tune use that.
Yeah, right? Remember I had to do my vocal for both verses like 200 times? Jeez, it's a wonder we got that thing together.
Take a look.
It brought back fond memories.
Yeah, man.
Are you kidding me? Incredible, man.
All right, everybody, let's give them a hand. Give them a hand.
We're deeply grateful to these artists for giving their time and talents to be part of this project. And it's important to say that they represent just a small part of a much larger community. There are so many other Trenton musicians and performers who continue to create great music and entertain audiences. Just within the rock and blues scene alone, you have artists like Rich Ziegler, George Greener, Lisa Bouchel, Mark Sacco, and so many more, too numerous to mention. You know, there's a real sense of camaraderie among Trenton musicians, coming together again in the studio, sharing memories, reconnecting, and making music was incredibly rewarding, and knowing we were doing it for a good cause made the experience even more meaningful.
It's because of the people that would come out to listen is why it not the musicians, but the people that supported the music. It was really something, you know. We're all older now, you know, and people don't stay out as late and stuff, but people still do come out. It's amazing. I've had people come and see me since the 70s that still come out. It's amazing. You know, I never thought that in a million years that, you know, at 70 I'd still be doing this and still feel the same way as I did when I was 20, a teenager. You know, it's I'm sorry. It's really something, and you know, obviously emotional too. But you know, there's nothing like it. I thank God that He gave me the talent to be able to do it. You know, the best I could, and still the best I can. I know things don't always turn out like you planned. You gotta give in order to get ahead. Now I know and finally understand that you can hold a man down
September 21st would have been the day that impacted our lives in a more dramatic, sad way. The radio was saying that Jim Croce was killed in a plane crash last night. And of course I knew right away what that meant. And then we got a call that Maury had been identified as one of the people on the plane. And you know, it was so sad and so devastating and just unbelievable. And I think for the first time in my life, I thought, I think this is what they call surreal.
There's just a common bond and a love, I think, that we all share. These people, I just admire them all, sticking with it all these years. And some of them are gone, like TJ, like Jody, and remembering them with just amazing reverence, you know.
Oh, lay me down, easy when I go. Lord, lay me down, easy when I go. When it's time for them to take me, and the good Lord, He waits me. Oh, lay me down, easy when I go. Don't cry for me, my brother, when I'm gone. Don't cry for me, brothers, when I'm gone. Just keep a smile upon your face and think of me with grace. Don't cry for me, my brother, when I'm gone. And I'll wait for you, my sister, till you come. I'll wait for you, my sister, till you come. Then I'll be at the gate to meet you when the Lord, He comes to greet you. I'll wait for you, my sister, till you come. So lay me down, easy when I go. Lord, lay me down, easy when I go. When it's time for them to take me, and the good Lord, He awaits me. Lay me down, easy when I go. Alright, I want you to lay me down, easy when I go. Lord, Lord, lay me down, easy when I go. And I've done my time on this here earth. I've done my best for what it's worth. Please lay me down, easy when I go.
Alright, here we go.
Been singing my songs over 50 years. Started around the corner from here. Yeah, this town sure has changed, but nothing ever stays the same. After Bruce Foster in Jacobs Creek, the Van Eaton brothers reached the peak, stepping into Beetle Low. recording tunes for Apple Core. Listen up, it's in the air. Listen up, it's everywhere. Songs that blow your blues away. Rock and roll, it's here to stay.
Richie Cole called this town home while mastering his saxophone. Duke Williams was the act to see, though wild at times extreme.
When Big Jim needed a lead guitarist, Croce turned to a local artist. Murray Muleisen was his man until they crashed future plans.
Listen up, it's in the air. Listen up, it's everywhere.
Songs that blow your blues away. Rock and roll, it's here to stay.
Blues Deluxe down at Billy and Dee's. Joseph kept us company. Another guy who's paid his dues. Paul Plummer, Rhino Bishop of the blues.
And Dee Dee and the Dive Bombers, Slippery Rock, Rick's Motor, the Cop Shoot Bar, Friday nights at the Satellite, Catching Wind with Ernie White.
Listen up, it's in the air. Listen up, it's everywhere. Songs that blow your blues away. Rock and roll, it's here to stay.
Soul sisters with a touch of class, Barbara Trent and Sarah Dash could torture song like no one else, with voices ringing like heavenly, heavenly bells.
Brother Saloon was a place to see Valentine for a cover fee. When City Gardens owned this town, punk bands burned the house down.
Listen up, it's in the air. Listen up, it's everywhere. Songs that blow your blues away. Rock and roll is here to stay.
Been singing my songs over 50 years in bars and taverns all around here. Yeah, it's true, Trenton has changed, but one thing that has stayed the same.
Hail to those who keep flame alive. Ain't it great that the music survives? The memories here will never die. Get up, go out, listen one more time. Listen up, it's in the air. Listen up, it's everywhere. Songs that top out hip
have to give a shout out to Tommy K, Tom Krawick. Tommy is the keeper of the flame. He's the guy who chronicles all the stuff that's going on in Trenton. He is the glue that remains for everybody.
Tommy K is the keeper of the history of Trenton music. He knows all of it. He loves all of it. He's paid respect to it.
If it is a brotherhood from back then Tommy he is the father now. Because without him, the Trenton music scene, like anything else, might be forgotten.
We've been blessed with so many great artists and so many talented people. I try to get it out there to show people, yes, this is great music. This was made by Trenton people. I fell in love with this music and I just never seem to have walked away from it. It's always in my heart. It's always in my mind. What thrills me the most is taking this music that no one's heard and bringing it out and turning it on to a new audience. Somewhere down the line, I'm hoping that somebody will discover this and realize there's a great history here.
You know, say, hey, so what? I'm not on a big stage with 50,000 people, but I'm doing what I enjoy. And I want to pass it off to my people, my audience.
We always said he wanted to make people smile. He wanted to play music and make people happy.
It's all about making music, you know. Hey, what prize am I going to win at the end of this? It's just enjoying making the music.
Memorializing to commemorate the sale of more than 1 million copies of the ABC Dunhill Records single record, Bad Bad Leroy Brown. When they got this, it was just such a big thrill. Maury had a little way of kind of bouncing on the ball of his feet all the time. This is in the family now, and I take good care of it, and very proud of Maury that he earned this.
I'm pretty proud to be from here and grow up in music, and a lot of my friends, there's a lot of the guys still playing.
Wonderful thing to be with the small community that lived within in the same, like, I don't know, 15-mile circumference, I guess. Had such interplay all these years. We're going back now 50 years, a half a century.
They are passionate about their music. They are passionate about their art.
It's our American pie to the music of Trenton that we grew up with.
But the vibe among all the musicians in Trenton was always so, what a cooperative.
And it was just, it was a magical time.
Everything that's important touches upon the human soul, the human heart, and there are plenty of stories in Trenton because of the music, because of the culture, because of the history, and because of the people who we are.